Him getting captured by the police went exactly how we planned it.
And I had been interrogating him with no knowledge of this. But how did you lure Akechi into this cognitive world's interrogation room?
Wait, what? Did you interrogate Akira in the real world, but then when Akechi walked in, it was the cognitive world? How did they force Akechi into the cognitive world like that? I thought that Akechi himself would have to choose to be into the cognitive world. I didn't know you could just throw someone in there whenever you felt like it. How do you force them to do that?
All I needed were the coordinates.
Seems like she used this laptop to remotely access the metaverse. What? Makoto said before they sent the calling card that the treasure looked like Sai's police notebook. But it was like, it wasn't a notebook though, it was like a little briefcase. Asking her about now would drag the conversation on too long. I should talk to her later. No.
Akechi disposed of the fake in the palace and left thinking he had been victorious. It must have been truly hilarious for our leader who sat idly in the real world's interrogation room. Surely he was acting quite cocky by himself in that quiet chamber.
So that's why you gave me your phone. I only took it because of what you told me.
So, wait. I think I get it now. Sai questioned me in the real world, and that's how I was able to actually explain everything to her. And then I gave her the cell phone. And somehow, because Futaba has plot powers, Futaba was able to activate the Metaverse app remotely. So when Sai held the phone up to Akechi, it put them both in the Metaverse. Because it just has an area of effect. Not on the one singular person. Because we've dragged people who have been standing near us in before, like with Ryuji and Yusuke, etc. I think. But then Sai just walked out without realizing she was in the Metaverse? Or like, Futaba let her back out? And then Akechi didn't realize he was in the Metaverse? He just walked back out of it without realizing? How, though? How could Akechi, who's been doing this for ages, not realize he was in the Metaverse? And then also not realize, like, surely when he walked out of the police station, he noticed, like, oh, wait a minute. I'm in the Metaverse. I shouldn't be here. How did I get in the Metaverse all of a sudden? I mean, I understand how they did it. It just seems, like, incredibly convenient that Akechi let it all happen.
It's a shame I didn't have the opportunity to see that for myself.
Yeah, I couldn't see it either, apparently. Also, like, I didn't think that cognitive beings would, like, bleed out like that and stuff. I thought when you killed them, they just, like, vanished away like shadows do. But I guess in this one instance, he bled out and fell over dead.
All I could do was try to handle all the messages that started coming to me on his phone. Huh. So in other words, I've been to the Metaverse, albeit for a brief moment.
In our experience, there is little danger when someone enters their own palace for so short a time.
That's the other reason we had him give it to you. We needed you to listen to Alibaba, deceive the guard, and ultimately aid in his escape. By having you head back to the interrogation room, we could return you to the real world as well.
I mean, I had to think of some way to keep you from running into Akechi mid-assassination.
But what I don't understand is, like, most of this has to be taken with a grain of salt because it's, like, so ridiculously convoluted. You know, this is like when Baron Zemo tricks Captain America and Iron Man in Civil War. You know, you're like, there's no way all of this would work out this well, but you know, it's a movie. But the one thing that's, like, breaking the camel's back for me is that Akechi, who has been doing this, we assume, for, like, at least a year, if not longer, did not realize when he was put into the Metaverse suddenly. And on top of that, after he assassinated Akira and walked out, they didn't make him leave the Metaverse because he was no longer near the phone with Sai, so they couldn't force him out. Akechi had to choose to leave the Metaverse at some point. Is Akechi, to this day, right now, still in the Metaverse and he just doesn't realize it somehow? Or does it just wear off after a while and he somehow didn't recognize it? It makes no sense to me. that Akechi wouldn't realize. Like, in the moment, sure, he wouldn't realize as he walked in and shot Akira, but after leaving, he's got to realize at some point, he's got to go back to the normal world, so he has to come to the realization, like, oh, I'm in the metaverse, I need to go back. Wait a minute, how did I get into the metaverse in the first place? When did I do that? That part right there is the thing to me that does not add up the most.
Huh. Astounding.
That's one word for it.
I hadn't the slightest idea that such a grand operation was taking place within me.
Don't make it sound so weird, please.
I'm so glad he was able to persuade you during the interrogation. Even though we knew Akechi's plan, we were pretty worried about that part.
True.
Why is that?
Without Sis on our side, Futaba's plan and subsequent breakout would have never been possible. That persuasion was easily our greatest gamble. We couldn't consult Sis beforehand. It was absolutely the make or break moment of the entire plan.
Still, I'm surprised you could convince me in such a short time. Were you confident you could do it?
I'm pretty sure we did change your heart, so the fact that we changed your heart is what made us confident we could do it, I think. Because I took a decoy treasure, right? So the others must have taken the real one out and changed your heart. Don't remember. Drugs. The marijuana got me.
Understandable. Either way, I can't believe you went for such a risky idea.
If we could just tell you the true culprit's plan, I knew you'd realize the bigger picture.
For me, the biggest deal is that remember those memories are the most important part that you forgot, even though he remembered every single smoothie he drank on that one Sunday. That's fair.
Realize that our leader was telling the truth, and that there was a greater evil to pursue.
As a result, we emerged victorious.
Then the reason you kept this a secret from me was so you could catch the true culprit, correct?
Wait a minute. No! Are you about to tell me that they know the true culprit? What was his name? Shido? They know his name because when Akechi called him on his bugged phone, he went, "Hello, Shido-san?" And then Shido goes, "I've told you not to call me that over phone." They really just, like, they've made Akechi both the smartest and the most idiotic character in the entire game. And I do not approve. You can't have your character be so dastardly smart and everything and then also be like, but actually when the plot needs him to be, he's a complete idiot. Like saying the name of his employer, the employer's actual name, when on the phone with him. Is that what you're about to tell me, game?
Yes. Plus, you had lost control of yourself at the time.
This is stunning. All I can really do is laugh.
I've kind of figured out that you guys made Akechi kill a fake. But what did you do about the body?
The police never even checked it.
Huh?
They had a coroner working to ensure his death was reported as a suicide. That coroner didn't take one look at the scene and just passed along a falsified death certificate.
The bad guys have that much influence?
Murder in a police station would be reckless otherwise. We also knew of a possible conspirator.
Thanks to Futaba-chan's messages and the guard's demeanor, I eventually came to understand. And since the higher-ups at the police knew nothing of this, they were thrown into disarray. As a result, his suicide during imprisonment was reported on the news, just as Akechi planned.
I really hope we get through these cutscenes relatively soon, because man, I've got to use the bathroom, but I don't want to leave in the middle of all of this.
And with that confusion, he was able to escape with Mijima-san's help.
I made sure nobody would check the morgue for his body, and thanks to that, nobody knows he survived.
Oh, well, thank goodness you have the power to just make sure no one ever looks at the morgue, ever. Sure would be a shame if Akechi ever thought, like, you know, maybe I should go look at that body that I shot in the forehead. But nah, he won't think to do that. Don't worry about it.
Thinking back to the interrogation, though, I can't believe what they did to him. The callous use of violence and even drugs is utterly abnormal. If he had lost consciousness and hadn't been able to tell Sis about the phone, he would have died. I'm truly glad you made it back safe.
You better not be trying anything, Makoto. I've already got a best girl. It was a breeze.
How tough are you?
Well, I am the leader of the Phantom Thieves.
It still freaked me out when I saw the suicide on the news, though.
We made sure to live normal lives while he was being interrogated to avoid drawing any suspicion. Even with that, I couldn't help but worry for him in my heart.
Well, I knew right away that her plan worked out.
I wanted to believe, but considering what we were up against.
Ryuji's a bit on the dense and carefree side.
Can it, cat?
I had to be patient and avoid this place until things settled down. I finally feel relieved.
We knew he was alive, but it was difficult to not worry until we could confirm it in person.
I mean, you didn't know I was alive until you saw me, though. For all you know, Akechi actually killed the real me and the suicide was listed correctly. Or not, well, not correctly, but the way he wanted. It's already been an hour and 20 minutes, my word.
Now that I think about it, my interrogation was just a formality for the head commander. What a joke, letting me interrogate someone who was meant to die. They just wanted to avoid backlash.
Also, yeah, if they just decided not to let Sai do the interrogation, we were once again completely screwed.
Very well. From here forward, I will do my utmost to assist you. You saved me, after all.
That's reassuring to hear.
I'll do whatever I can to help too. Just let me know.
Coffee Daddy, there is nothing that gives me more relief in this life than other than knowing that you've got my back. I just want you to know.
Let's take a break for now, though. This old brain is pooped. Oh, and feel free to use the first floor when you guys want to get together to talk. You'll need a hideout where you can be safe. Just say the word, and I'll close shop early.
Are you sure?
This guy can't leave. Plus, you won't make much progress if people can hear you from downstairs. It's not like this place is the liveliest joint in town. It won't be a huge loss for me.
Oh, dang it, that's right, I can't go outside. Wait a minute, my confidants! I gotta get those ranks up!
Let us accept his offer. What a great man.
He is an amazing person, you're right. I know that there's, like, Coffee Daddy is pressed up against the wall right now to not be visible from here, because that is a very small little indent in the wall there. I've been back there, I know it. Summary of the story up to this point has been updated. Oh, thank goodness. Akira Kurusu.
That sounds familiar.
It's me, Akechi.
Enter.
That's the death certificate of the principal offender, correct? Is there a problem with it?
No, nothing in particular. More importantly, you've done well with regard to the prosecutors.
The cause of death for the SIU director has been settled as a stroke.
I had him work quite substantially on forging evidence. His loss should be mourned.
It was thanks to his efforts that I could enter the Phantom Thieves interrogation room, too.
The SIU is in disarray with his death. I'll take my time choosing a successor after the elections.
At any rate, I'm now praised as a hero, and I owe it all to the Phantom Thieves.
All possible hindrances are now gone. There's no doubt that this election is mine.
Well, there's that.
And on to our next story, the snap election for the House of Representatives. Discussion is swirling around potential nominees as the deadline for candidacy announcement nears. Candidates will announce on the 23rd of this month, while voting will be held on the 18th of next.
Elections, huh? Don't matter to us. It's not like we can vote in them yet anyways.
Why don't we resume our conversation?
Well, the Phantom Thieves are back together. We can finally take it to Akechi and the bastard backing him.
Have you figured out who's behind all this?
Akechi accidentally let that slip after the murder. He said, Shido-san.
Oh, well, yeah, you're kidding me. You're actually kidding me. They literally have just like, let's make Akechi the smartest guy ever so he can pull this off, but also at the same time, we need Akechi to be the dumbest person ever so that the Phantom Thieves have a chance. It's the utmost of plot convenience. It's so stupid.
Shido. Feels like I heard that somewhere.
Also, this guy Shido is working on, like, taking over the world or something, or taking over the government by doing all of this elaborate killing people with mental shutdowns, all of this espionage, political whatever. But he takes time out of his day to go and try to get drunk and try and rape some random woman in an alleyway, and I happen to run into him? The fact that I accidentally ran into him, you know, whatever. Anime, I guess. But the fact that Shido is apparently this big megalomaniac mastermind doing all this stuff is like, you know what I should do while I'm in the middle of all this crazy mental shutdown, really important, busy stuff? Let's go try and rape some random woman in the street instead of, I don't know, just going and hiring a prostitute or something with all the money I undoubtedly have. They've made I assume what are like the two final villains of this game, the stupidest men on the planet while also being the most intelligent men on the planet. It's so idiotic.
He is unmistakably a man of power if he has such strong connections to the police.
Shido? Could it be Masayoshi Shido?
Who?
I believe he's a politician. Remember, Ryuji? You said his speech was too loud.
For real?
It's certainly possible that Shido is the mastermind.
Huh?
Do you have some kind of evidence?
Nothing material. However, there are various conditions which align with that possibility. First, he would profit from damage done to the current administration by the psychotic breakdowns. He's maintained a negative stance toward the Phantom Thieves and has gained tremendous popularity. On top of that, he'll most likely become the next Prime Minister if he wins this upcoming election.
No!
Did he set us up with that election in mind?
If he is behind all this, that would be in stark opposition to his honest public image.
So his current position and popularity is just him benefiting from the mental collapses.
We'll make him have a change of heart, no matter what it takes.
Mom.
Shido, huh?
What is the matter?
I had a feeling he was wrapped up in all this. Just based on the connections I had from my previous job. I think the one who crushed Wakaba's research and confiscated her materials was probably Shido. From the moment Wakaba died, I had a hunch he was involved. But there wasn't anything I could do, so I chose to protect Futaba and went into hiding.
Why didn't you say that sooner?
You guys would have definitely gone after him if I had. He would have just killed all of you, no doubt. That's what he usually does to people who get in his way.
Originally, I was looking into the mental shutdown cases. It was then that I accidentally stumbled upon government research regarding the psychotic breakdowns. So I tracked down the whereabouts of that research data and met with the associated parties. Boss was one of those parties. I would never have imagined all of this was connected. The Mental shutdowns, psychotic breakdowns, Shido, and even the Phantom Thieves' actions.
Way back when, Shido kept saying he was going to be Prime Minister one day. Nobody believed him, though.
What's going to happen to this country if Shido becomes Prime Minister? What about the world?
The issue is simpler than that. This is nothing more than yet another selfish adult trying to impose his will on the public.
We gotta expose that rotten bastard!
Yeah, we'll do it like always. Then let's check the nav.
Masayoshi Shido, the guy running for Prime Minister. Got a hit! Well, duh. Ain't a surprise he has one.
I wonder what his base is and what he sees it as. That's gonna be interesting.
Where would the location be?
What kind of things go through a politician's head?
I always think of dirty money and shady actions.
What does he do? And where? We don't got a clue about this guy's life.
His palace must be somewhere that politicians frequent. Any ideas?
Please, please, please tell me it's a golf club. Oh no, I wanted it to be a golf course of some kind. I mean, like the Diet building, right?